this is Sue. Welcome to Fireside Chat. I am so pleased and honored to have one of my very favorite people in the world, Miss Deborah Williams. She's here to talk about an organization that she's founded. And I just want to say with all my heart, welcome, Deborah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How about
I'm
yourself?
doing great. Thank you. So happy to have you here. I wanted to talk about Deborah's incredible vision. She was raised in under-resourced, underserved communities, and great big family, 9 girls, 1 boy, and so she knows what it's like to grow up, in an environment where you may not have a lot of hope or a lot of opportunity. And so she was working in education for 30 years. And so from her background and also her work, she was inspired to help others and to particularly want to help young people. So love what you're doing. Please tell us about it.
Thank you. Well, I am the owner of 1stSteps2Business. And 1stSteps2Business is a one-on-one personal coaching, but for adults. So I literally go online with them and I walk them through every step that they need to help them to start a business.
Okay.
But that's how I started off with 1stSteps2Business. But as I went on, God kind of gave me a vision that, no, you have the education, you know what it's like working and being into under-resourced communities,
Right.
and our youth need help. So from that vision, I developed a program curriculum, and it is called Tomorrow Trailblazers.
All right.
And so Tomorrow Trailblazers teaches youth 14 to 24 years old. Sorry about that. Basic skills, business skills, and ethics. And so that's where the program comes in.
Amazing. There's such a need for it.
Yes, it is, and it's more of a focus on that now because the youth are really lost. And so
Yes.
even though I still do adults, my focus is mainly the youth right now.
Yeah, and you're actually leading some youth right now. You've been meeting with some of them
Yes,
every week.
yes, every week I am meeting with the youth right now.
Did they start off with ideas, or have they developed ideas as you guys have met every week? Did they start off thinking this is what I'd love to do, or did they say,
Yes, they kind of
know
started.
what I want to do, right?
They did. They kind of started off thinking that they knew what they wanted to do, but
Yeah, right.
but as we have been moving along in this, a few of them has kind of changed their mind. One is still kind of sticking to what he wanted to do, but
Sure, that's awesome.
yeah, they're kind
Wow.
of changing their mind now.
So you've opened their eyes and opened up their world because they probably didn't think that they could be a business owner. Like, that's incredible.
Yes.
But I'm really
yes.
glad that you care about young people.
Yes, I do. And I mean, one of the things that really brought me to this too is when we start a business, we're kind of taught you get an LLC, you get a bank account, you register it,
Right.
and you get out and you work it, right?
Yeah.
It's so far from that. There was so many little things in between that nobody taught you. Nobody taught you how to pitch. Nobody taught you that you need to tell a story. Nobody even taught you that you need to come up with a business idea. What is a business idea, and how do you obtain customers, and how do you get competitors? And I think we just have to take a step back and stop going over the heads of youth to get them to understand better what business is. They don't need to know about starting a business until they're ready to start a business.
Yeah.
They need to know those little things that helps to build
Yeah.
on starting a business.
To go to the next step, maybe.
Exactly.
I guess I really like your first steps to business, like the graphic of actually going upstairs. It's amazing because it all fits,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
and the coaching adults fit so perfectly in coaching with young people because you can find young people who might know an adult who needs your help, and there are definitely adults who know young people who need your help because
Exactly.
it's just it's an incredible ecosystem. So you've also found some interesting partners to work with
Yes.
to develop your business.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. Yes. So right now I am working with Caught Up Mentorship Youth Program for young men.
Wow.
And that has been really, really interesting because I've always been used to teaching both girls and boys, but to just be teaching young men, it has opened up a whole different
It's lovely.
light because it's like, wow, young men are different. They are really different. And so even my teaching style had to kind of be tweaked a little bit because they're kind of more hands-on.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to keep them interested.
Right.
You have to keep them
Right.
motivated. You have to keep them kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. So each week I kind of have actually been tweaking how I'm going to teach them because, you just have to get
Yeah,
them
but it's
involved.
wonderful. It's wonderful that you're so flexible and fluid that you can teach to who's in the room at the time,
Exactly.
but that's amazing. So I'd like to show a slide. This is a graphic of First Steps to Business provides one-on-one personal startup business coaching, teaching basic skills and ethics training for youth 14 to 24 years old in under-resourced communities. So slide 2, Tomorrow's Trailblazers is a purpose-driven curriculum program tailored to introduce the concept of entrepreneurship to under-resourced youth ages 14 to 24 years old. The program provides essential practical business skills and ethics training, thereby bridging the opportunity gap and preparing youth for successful futures as entrepreneurs and beyond. The modules provide engaging, practical learning experiences covering various aspects of business development. Students delve into creating business ideas, distinguishing between products and services, uh, perfecting their pitching skills, so important, understanding customer demographics, identifying competitors, selecting suitable business names, exploring fundraising methods, and comprehending the significance of business ethics. These sessions aim to offer hands on, interactive learning opportunities, ensuring a real world understanding of key entrepreneurial concepts. That's amazing.
Yes.
So we have some pictures of Deborah working with the young people, and here you're working on you're like doing some kind of doing
Actually,
something.
they're working on a vision board.
A vision
It's what
board.
they're doing because I'm trying to teach them how to take their business idea and bring it out in a board
I
to
love
kind of
that.
create it and build on it and then add information to it as they go along. And then that way they can kind of,
That's true.
right,
They
that
can
way they
change it.
can kind of understand or even because a lot of these students are not starting businesses right away. But at least this will give them something to go back to later
Right.
to really look at and say, oh, okay, well, I do need to focus on who's going to be my customer and I do need to focus
Right.
on who's going to be my competitor and what is my business idea and how do I make that come out? How do I stand out
Right.
from other businesses? And so it's fun
Super
because
fun.
I didn't think, I honestly didn't think that them being young men would really like when I said vision board, I was like looking like would they actually get into this? But they actually
But
loved
they
it.
did, right? I'm so happy
They
to see
actually
that.
loved it.
That's wonderful.
So that was interesting. But as I was walking around looking at them, it really made me realize how they didn't understand
Mm,
any of these concepts.
interesting.
And it was like, wow, no, there was no creativeness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of teach them how to be creative, how to think out of the box,
Right.
how to narrow down because it was funny when I would ask them like who is going to be your customer? Everybody. And I'm like, "No.
No, that's so true.
Everybody cannot be your customer.
So
You
true.
need to either think about is it going to be women? Is it going to be men? Is it going to be children? Is it going to be teens? And then you have to think about the age range. Like,
Yeah.
what is going to be the age of your customer?
They didn't
And
really.
if one person was like, well, I'm going to start a barbershop and I don't know how to cut hair and I'm not going to do any of that. But guess what? I'm going to run it. And I said, okay, but you still have to have some kind of skills,
Yes,
right?
you
You
do.
can't just go in and say, I'm going to run a barbershop without knowing all of the other things that come with running a barbershop, right?
Right.
And you still have to have some kind of background in that because you still need to make sure that while you're running this, if somebody comes to you with a problem or an issue or whatever, you kind of know
Right.
what to say to them. So
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, because they probably think, oh, I'll be a CEO of something, but they don't realize the work and the preparation and
That
the
goes in it.
training and,
Exactly.
all of that. Like you
Exactly.
might need to be around a barbershop for a couple of months to
Ex-
see what goes on
yes.
because they might think, no, that isn't at all what I want to do, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Because you're like sweeping the floors. You're like, there's, the owner has to wear many hats.
Yes. The owner has to wear a lot of hats.
And what do you do if, your person that was supposed to work that day is sick and you have 5 clients lined up? You might need to learn how to help these
Yes,
clients
you do.
because you can't shut down, oh, sorry, we don't have anyone to work, so I can't do it. And so therefore, like, no, you know what? So, yeah, those are good points you're raising. I'm so glad they had fun being creative because they're not always encouraged to be creative, right? So this
Yes.
is the rational part of a teen's brain isn't fully developed and won't be until age 25 or so. That's so interesting.
That's correct. And as I looked at them, I was like, wow, they honestly hasn't they have no clue. And they were trying to think of businesses that they thought didn't take any effort. Right? They like one of them like I want to do a barbershop, and the other one's like, well, I just want to sell clothes. Those I don't have to do anything with that. And I said, yes, you do. You still
Lot.
have a lot of things that you have to do. So it just kind of really showed me how lost these young men were
Right.
as far as having any type of business skills or any knowledge of how business actually runs. They just literally thought you open a business and boom, that's it. They not
People
thinking
come
about
in.
if people come in, I'm gonna make a lot of money, and that's it. And I'm like, no, it's just like working a job. You have to stay motivated. It's a lot of time that goes into building a
Yeah.
business, and it doesn't just grow overnight. It takes a lot of work,
Yes, it
a
does.
lot of motivation, a lot of time. And guess what? You may start off a business thinking that you're going to do one thing and find out, oh, no, that's not working. Now I
Right.
need to tweak this.
Right. Right.
And now I need to do something different with this. You need to do some sort of research, right? You need to research what it is that you're talking about doing,
Who's going to buy it?
who's going to buy it. Ask some people, how they feel about your concept so you can get some feedback on what it is that you're trying to
True.
do.
True.
It's a whole lot of other things that comes with that. And so
Completely.
it's just interesting because it really showed me, even though I'm passionate about working with both
Yeah.
girls and young ladies and young men, should I
Right.
put it, the men need to help the most.
Wow. Because women can just go out and do things now, right?
I think as women, we automatically mature a little faster.
I think so.
And it's probably because we have children that we kind of have to grow up a little fast,
You're
right?
so right.
So our minds are already in that direction.
Yeah.
Young men, they're not. They're not. They just think it is what it is,
Here I
right?
am.
And it just really made me be a little more passionate about now teaching these young men because I think there's been a divide between men and women. Women are kind of taking over the professional world now, and men are they're there, but they're not all there,
Right.
right? And we
Yeah.
say that men are the head of the house, right?
Mhm.
And we just assume that men should know how to be the head of the house. But if there's nobody actually teaching them anything,
Right.
they honestly don't know how to
Especially-
be the leaders. They don't know how to run the house.
Right.
So I think we need to look a little more because there's so many programs out here for women. I can go anywhere and be in a program for women and be taught business and all of those things.
Yeah.
But men they don't have that. They don't have these programs that they can attend.
That's
They
true.
don't have any of that. And so how can we expect them to know how to be the man
Right.
when nobody's teaching them
Right.
how to be the man?
Right.
And so I want to change that.
I'm glad.
It's time to change that narrative. It's time to prepare our men a little more
I think so.
to be the leaders of the household.
And I just thinking too that even their parents at home, like if their dads have only ever worked, like your husband only ever worked 9 to 5 or a job they wouldn't know anything about entrepreneurship either.
Right.
So, a lot of young people are doing different than what their parents and grandparents did.
Exactly.
And so they're kind of like creating a new path, but there's no guideposts.
Exactly. And then you have to look at when you're dealing with under-resourced communities, you may have a lot of homes that don't have a dad
That's true.
in the home.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
then how do you learn how to be a man, right? We cannot teach a man how to be a man.
No,
We can teach them things, but we cannot teach them how to be a man.
right.
But we do need to help teach them how to become leaders and how to look at things a little differently
Right.
so that we can help develop them into
Yeah.
becoming the man that we want them to
Do you
be.
find after a couple of weeks that the young ones are actually asking different questions?
Yes, I did. I kind of found after a couple of weeks they were getting a little more
So interesting.
interested
That's awesome.
in it. And then I kind of make sure that we are doing research online together and that they are
Right.
definitely doing a lot of hands-on
Good.
research.
keep
And
them
then they have to
interested.
go out into businesses and do research and that kind of stuff so that they can really see how it really works, right?
Right.
Not just, me sitting there talking on a PowerPoint and telling them all of these things, but you actually are now doing it.
Right.
And so you have to now, get a little more experience in it.
So, yeah, and you have speakers come and talk with them,
Yes,
right?
we have speakers come out. They're going to be attending a field trip. They'll be going to, yes.
so nice.
So we'll be going on a field trip to this creative content warehouse. And she kind of has her whole warehouse set up in different business ideas. So in one room, she may be doing podcasts. In another room, she do conferences. In another room, they do commercials. And I just think it would be so awesome for them to actually see business at work, right?
Absolutely.
Because then it'll give them a little more idea of, wow, like it's really not
That's incredible,
just
Deborah.
that easy.
Wow.
So
In one day, they can see
in
so
one day
many
they
different...
can see how this works, and it's not somebody telling them.
No.
And even the motivational speaker that came out to
Right.
speak with them,
Right.
he was just letting them know, no, you have to plan, you have to prepare, you have to kind of change your mindset, right? You have
Right.
to stay on track. And so it was really nice because they loved it. And, a lot of the kids were exchanging the numbers with them, like, wow, we really need somebody to help motivate us to do these things.
That's
and
wonderful.
So, yes.
I'm so glad you went out in person. Because
Yes.
it's true. Like, they need a male role model.
They do.
Who's absolutely doing it themselves.
Exactly.
And, here he is on Instagram and he's doing reels. Like, they need to see a young
Yes.
person like that, like just owning that space and getting booked as a keynote speaker. I mean, wow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Jonathan Jackson. He's inspiring. He really is, and I'm so happy to, that you met him and were like, yeah, come talk to the kids, and that they really enjoyed it because
Yes.
we're all helping each other, aren't we?
Yes.
You and I have had so much fun going to networking together.
Yes, we have. Yes,
we really
have.
and so glad that I met you. I think I met you at Uplift Macomb County,
Yes.
right? Uplift. So is a program that we get together every week at like noon for a couple of weeks, maybe about 8 weeks.
Yes.
And then they kind of go over different topics in starting a business. And Deborah and I, we just knew that we wanted to like hang out after, the classes were over.
Yeah.
And we really did. We had a great time. We went to a couple of different networking and I've always wanted to have Deborah on so that you can actually, to shine a light on what you're doing and the people that you're helping because maybe there's young people who would like this, but they don't know where to go.
Exactly.
So I want to just show your information here. If you can just describe. Okay, so the business is 1stSteps2Business. So
That's
the
correct.
website is exactly as it's saying, www.1ststeps2business.com. She's on LinkedIn and the startup at 1ststeps2business.com is how you can send a message to Deborah. You can email her. And if you are a community group or a company and you'd like to talk to Deborah about putting something together,
Yes.
if you'd like to maybe set up a field day where they come visit a business or something like that, please call Deborah and let her know how you might be able to get involved and to support the work that she's doing, right?
Exactly. Yes, they can definitely email me, and even when they go onto my website, it's a way to contact me
Very
from
good.
the website if they are interested, and even maybe they may have a youth program
That's
already
true.
that
Already. Yeah.
they may need to want to implement some sort of business skills and ethics, and that's another thing. Ethics.
Ethics is
Let's
really.
talk
I
about
love how you
ethics.
just have. I
Let's
love how
let's
it
just put
says
that ethics in
ethics
there.
right in there because that's
There are
so
so many
important.
young people that has no clue that you have to act a certain way,
Oh
right?
my goodness. They wouldn't know.
So
How would they
that's a
know?
whole nother
They wouldn't know.
topic, right?
It's wonderful.
They have to know you can't just stay laid back and talk any kind of way. And so honestly,
So
that
true.
ethics part is really, really, and it kind of really made me go and do some research
Yes.
on the mindset of men, of young men
Right.
going into adulthood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't really know what they're thinking, and so it just kind of made me like, oh, I really need to see where are their minds? How did they get? What hurdles are they facing
Right.
prior to becoming a young man
Yeah.
and going into adulthood? And I actually bought some of the texts that side that you pull up. There's actually some text and responses of what these men said on some of the hurdles that they were facing.
This one you want to?
Yes.
Okay, good. So one of them is there were many struggles, but for me personally, it was learning our culture and environment is both a gift and a curse. Being a product of it can lead you into life-altering or ending situations, but enduring it, learning from it, gives you a strength and will, unlike any other community, if pointed in the right direction. Wow. So true. There were plenty, but I'll say specifically as a young black man, it was realizing that the world around me as a man is much sooner. They saw me as a man much sooner than I saw myself. Grace, compassion, and empathy went out the window the moment I hit a growth spurt and my mustache started coming in with no father in my life. I had to teach myself how to be a man. I never learned to be with examples around me, like my older brother, who unfortunately also had to do the same. I became a threat to those who fear stereotypes, and I had to fight like hell to not become the stereotypes. And to put it simply, the biggest hurdle for a young black man will usually be himself, in my opinion. That's so powerful.
Yes. So it just really gave me a lot to think about. It was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Because you never really know that this is how young men are thinking.
Right.
Like we think that they just supposed to have it all together. And I was like amazed to just see the struggles that they really had to face from becoming a young man and going into adulthood. It just was really amazing. So I'm now just really, really like now I just really want to teach all the young men. It's like, oh my God, like y'all really need
They really
somebody
do.
to help you guys to,
They really do.
kind of develop some skills or even think about the direction in which they're trying to take their lives, right?
Right. Yeah, because there's so much potential, but if they never even think about it, then they're never going to realize it. They're never going to try.
Right.
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 So, yeah, I kind of wish you could do like have an expo or something where
Yes.
people could come to different tables and, get information. But, a lot of people search online, and so I really want them to find you. And, but I think it's great that you're also working with, other, like some future projects that you could, ally with the state level or at the city level.
Yes.
Right. And so
Yes.
we'll definitely have more shows with people that you're working with to create things together. Right. So we'll
Exactly.
definitely have that in the future. But it must feel amazing because it's one thing to say, I really like to help young people. It's another thing to actually do it.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
actually are a great example yourself,
Yes.
just for actually, thinking there's a need here,
Yes.
and they don't have anyone to help them. There's often no man in the family or, so it's just, even to be a man who goes to a 9 to 5 job every day, if there's no one there,
Right.
then they wouldn't even have that model or even like an entrepreneurial model. Like there's nothing for them to kind of aspire to, right?
That's right.
And they
That's
can
right.
definitely fall down a difficult and like a negative kind of path very
Right.
young.
Exactly, because they're looking for that mentorship, and often they look in the wrong directions.
Right.
So they end up, out here in drugs and gangs and just all kind of other stuff because they don't understand any other direction that they can go in.
Right,
Yeah.
right, absolutely. So I really, I'm looking forward to us talking in the future. We'll talk as soon as, we want to get another, like a little roundtable in a sense together and talk about some ideas that are under development.
Yes.
And that'll be so great because, you're just kind of beginning and there's so much that, you can also, team up with other organizations. Yeah. Do you have a dream for what you'd like to do? What would you like to manifest? Is there something that you'd like to kind of bring about?
What I would love to see
Yeah.
out of this is to change the mindsets of our young people within the communities, and not just here in Michigan, but
Wow.
everywhere.
True.
So if I could just change their mindsets and then teach them how to give back, right?
Wow.
Because it's not just about me changing their mindset, but it's about them sharing that with their communities.
Right.
And so if I could see them sharing that with their communities and then they start supporting one another, then we'll have communities of business-minded individuals
Yeah.
that are supporting one another. And how awesome
How
would that
awesome.
be?
That's
How awesome would
amazing.
that be, right?
It's incredible. And it's possible.
Yes.
You just have to
you
be
know,
that change and hey, there's a way for you to actually, have a startup. Like, what do you dream about? And, like,
Yes.
it's amazing. And because they're so good at computers and technology and things like that, they have a lot to bring to the table, even though
yes,
they're
they
young.
do. Yes, they do. But I think that's too part of the problem. I think COVID kind of took away the socialization
Yes.
from our
Yes.
youth because we were all closed in. And so now they don't understand that you have to be around other people. You have to network. You have to know how to talk to other people. You have to know how to treat other people. You have to know all of these things.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons I want to try to make sure that this stays in person and that they're taught. Because what I would love to do is see these youth be taught, train them, bring them in as interns, and then actually hire them on to teach other youth.
I love
right? That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And then that way they're constantly
That's
spreading
amazing.
this.
I love
you
your
know.
vision. It's such a pleasure to
Yes.
talk with you. I love
Yes.
sitting and talking with you,
Yes.
and you have so much to offer to the world. I'm just so thrilled and happy that you're making such a difference in these young men's lives. God bless you for the work
Thank
that you're
you.
doing,
Thank
and
you.
I'm looking forward to partner with you in the future.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you had time to come on, and I hope that it's been nice just talking about what you
Yes.
do, and I'm so glad. But yeah, please come back, okay, Deborah?
Yes, I will. Yes, I
Thank
will.
you, and thank you for watching. It's been such a pleasure to spend time with you and learn about how we can make a profound difference in the lives of young people.
Yes. Thank you.
you. See you next time.
Okay, bye-bye. Made it through. Girl, and then they kept on ding, 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 and I'm like, oh my God, like,
It's okay,
why?
That's okay.
Like,
'Cause
why
you're
are they
busy,
all?
girl. You're
I know.
busy.
I'm like, why are they? What are they dinging back and forth on
calling.
text? Girl, only my family.